Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to talk about the sum of an arithmetic sequence. In this lesson, we're going to understand how to find the sum of arithmetic sequence and how to use the formula of arithmetic sequence or the sum of arithmetic sequence to find a missing variable inside the formula itself. First of all, let's take a look at the formula. The formula will look like this. Zoom in. Sum of arithmetic sequence will equal n divide 2 multiplied by 2a plus bracket n minus 1 bracket times d and then close bracket. Now, we all know the meaning of n. N is the order of numbers. So if we're trying to find the sum of 100 numbers, it means n will equal 100. This n and this n, 100 and 100. If we're trying to find the sum of 50 numbers, so n will equal 50. Very good. Now, A is the first term of the sequence. Sometimes it's going to be given in the sequence, and then they will ask us to find the sum of these terms. Sometimes they will tell us to find the first term by knowing the sum of the sequence and the count of the numbers or how many numbers we're dealing with, and the difference, which is D, between each consecutive terms. So the whole idea is that we have one, two, three, four variables. Three of them will be given, and one of them will be missing. Now, let's start the first questions. In the first questions, we're going to learn how to find the sum of the sequence using the n and the first term and the difference between the consecutive terms. Let's take a look at one of the questions. Let's take a look at question 1 in exercise 6. Find 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, and it goes on till 1000. This is an arithmetic sequence. Now, how do we know arithmetic sequences? The difference is always the same between all terms or all consecutive terms. So from 1 till 2, it's plus 1. And then from 2 till 3, it's plus 1. So it's always plus 1. That's why we call it arithmetic sequence. Now we're going to use the formula of the sum of the sequence. So we're going to add these terms together by using the formula of the sum of the sequence. Now let's remember the formula together. As we said, it starts with Sn, which is the sum of arithmetic sequence. Let's write it here. So S, and then we have a small n here. Okay. Will equal n over 2. Let's write it here. Equals n over 2. Now, basically, in the IGCSEs, they give you this formula at the beginning of the exam. It's going to be in the formula sheet at the beginning of the exam. Now, n plus over 2, and then let's do brackets. Okay, let's do a red fraction line, because that's a fraction. And then bracket. Inside the bracket, as we said, we have an n over 2. And inside the bracket here, we will have 2a. Let's write it here. 2a. And then plus bracket n minus 1, n minus 1, close bracket, and then multiplied by d, and then we close the bracket outside. So this is the whole formula of the sum of a sequence. Now we understand each part of this formula. As we said, n is the number of, or the count of the numbers, or how many numbers we're trying to find the sum of. For example, for this question, n will be what? Very good. It's going to be 1000 because we have 1000 number. How did we know it's 1000? Because it starts from 1 and goes up by 1 till it reaches the 1000. That's why we have 1000 number. And then the 2a or the a itself is what? Very good. A is the first term, which is 1. The first term is 1. And then we have the d, which is the difference, which is plus 1 here. And how do we know the difference? We can take a look at two consecutive terms. We can pick any consecutive terms. We can pick this and this, for example. We can say 4 minus 3 is going to be plus 1. So the D, or the difference for the sequence, is plus 1. Now, we write the things that we have. We already know the N. So the N will equal 1000, like this. A, or the A1, will equal 1, which is the first term. And then we have the D, which equals plus 1, or 1. So we have the N, the A, and the D. Now we use them all here to find the sum of the sequence. So let's make a line like this, and we start our work next to it. So first, N is 1000, so we say 1000, like this. Divide 2, like we have here. And then we have the bracket, which has 2a inside of it. So 2 multiplied by a, and we know the a is 1. So 2 multiplied by 1, like this. And then plus, we have the bracket, which is n again, which is 1000, minus 1. And then close bracket, and then multiplied by the d, which is 1, like this. And then we close the brackets outside, like this. This bracket and this bracket. Okay. So now we have the whole formula with the numbers that we need. Now let's use a fraction line like this. Now this can be solved using the calculator or step-by-step solving. We can do 1000 divide 2, which is 500, and then simplify these. Let's simplify them step by step. So it's going to be 500 multiplied by 2 times 1 is 2. Then 1000 minus 1 is going to be 999. And then multiplied by 1 is going to be 999. And then we close the bracket. And then 500 will be multiplied by 2 times plus 999, which is 1001, like this. They're going to be multiplied by each other. Okay. Now you can use a calculator here. We'll multiply 500 by 1001. So 500 times 500 times 1001. And the answer is 500,000 and 500. 500,000, 500, like this. So equals 500,000, 500. And this is the sum of the first 1000 numbers in this arithmetic sequence. Now, all of the questions that has the same idea will be answered using the same method. Now, let's take a look at other questions. For example, we're going to follow the same steps. For example, in question A here, the first term, which is A, is 5. And then you find the difference by subtracting. You'll say 9 minus 5 will equal 4, will equal 4. So you have the first term, which is 5, which is A1, and the D will be 4. And then you need to know how many numbers, which is the N, and they already told you, find the sum of the first 40 terms. So N equals 40. You're going to follow the same steps that we did in question 1 to answer this question. Same idea here. Find the sum of the first 100 even numbers. So 100 even numbers, the even numbers start with what? They start with, so the first even number will be 2, and we have 100 even numbers, so n will equal 2, 100. So A is 2, n is 100, and the D is the difference between even numbers, which is plus 2. So we have the A, the D, and the N. This means we can find the sum using the formula that we used. Same idea for all questions. Just find the sum using the info that you have. For example, here, let's zoom out. The first term is 9. The sum is 10. Here, the sum of the 10 terms is 225. Find the sum of the first 20 terms. This is a very important question because they already gave you the sum of some terms. You're going to use it because you already have the A, but you don't have the D. So you're going to use it to find the D. You have the N here, and then use the D with the A to find the sum of the 20 terms. Let's do this question. It's very important, so let's do it together, okay? Let's put it here. Question 8. Let me fix it. As we said, the first term of an arithmetic sequence or arithmetic series is 9. So the first term is 9, which is A. So let's put it here so we know. A equals 9. Now we don't know the D, but we already know the N, which is 10. So the sum of the first 10 is 225. So N will equal 10 here. Okay. And then we know the sum of the sequence, which is, or the sum of the first 10, let's call it sum 10, equals 225. Okay. So this is the first info that we have. We're going to use it, as we said, because we're missing the D. We're going to use it to find the D. Let's put it here, make it smaller. Now we're going to use the formula that we have or we used before, which is the sum of the arithmetic sequence. As we said, the sum of n, let's write it first here. Make sure that you write the formula in every question, because basically when you write formulas, you get 1 mark, and then they start counting your marks depending on your steps. So the sum of n will equal n over 2 for steps, and then we have a bracket here. Let's put it here. And then we have 2a, okay, plus the bracket, which is n minus 1, and then multiplied by the d. And then we close the bracket. Put the fraction line to make sure that we finished our formula first, so we can get the first marks. So here we have our formula ready, which is the sum of the sequence or the sum of the arithmetic sequence. Make sure you understand the idea of using it. N over 2 bracket 2a plus n minus 1 multiplied by d. Now we're going to use the formula with this info that we have to find the d. So let's plug in every single number that we have. So we know the sum of the arithmetic sequence, which is 225. So I'm going to start with it, which is 225 equals. And then n over 2. We already know the n, which is 10. So it's going to be 10 over 2. 10 divide 2, which is 5. And then we open the bracket here, here. The 2a, which is 2 multiplied by a. So 2 times 9. 2 times 9, like this. And then plus n minus 1. The n is 10. So inside the bracket, like this, it's going to be 10 minus 1. And then this will be multiplied by the d, which is a variable that we don't know. So the whole idea of this is finding the d. So I'm going to simplify as much as possible to find the d, or the value of d. And then I'm going to use it to find the sum of the 20 terms. Now, let's simplify together, okay? First thing, I'm going to simplify this, which is 10 divided 2. 10 divided 2 will be 5. So I'm going to simplify step by step. So I have the 225 equals, this becomes 5. And then we open the bracket. 2 times 9 is going to be 18. And then plus. 10 minus 9 is going to be, 10 minus 1 is 9. And then multiplied by the d is going to be 9d. So plus 9d. And then close bracket. Like this. Now, I'm going to continue simplifying. So 225 will equal. This 5 here is multiplied inside. I can do one of these steps. I can expand the 5 inside, or I can take the 5 to the other side by dividing. So I can divide here by 5. So I'm going to do the dividing part so I don't get like big numbers here, and they might confuse me more. So I'm going to do the dividing part. Let's remove this. Anyways, both steps are good. So I'm going to divide 5 here and divide by 5 here to remove the 5 to the other side. So the whole idea is getting rid of the 5 on one side and putting it in the other side. So this 5 will cancel this 5 here. And then we have 225 divide 5. So 225 divide 5, can do it with a calculator. 225 divide 5 will give you 45. So this one is 45. So 45 will equal. Now, because we removed the 5, no need to have the brackets anymore. Because the idea of brackets is multiplying by what's outside of it. And removing the 5 made me have 1 here. So it's like multiplying 1 by 18 and 1 by 9d, like this. So I just write them again. Now, we're going to rearrange to make d the subject. So I'm going to take the 18 to the other side. And because it's positive 18, I'm going to take it by making it negative. So changing the sign of the 18, it's going to be negative 18. So we will end up with 45 minus 18 equals 9d, like this. Now we simplify more. So 45 minus 18, 45 minus 18 gives me 27. Gives me 27 equals 9d, like this. Now I want to make d the subject. It means I have to divide by 9 on this side. Same idea with the other side. So divide both sides by 9, like this. So divide 9, divide 9. The side that has 9 in the numerator and the denominator, they will cancel each other like this. And then 27 divide 9 will give me 3. This means that the d equals 3. And this is the first step of this question, finding the difference in the arithmetic sequence. So basically, I just found the difference, which is 3. Now I'm going to use it with the rest of the info that I have here. And my n will be 20 this time instead of 10. And this will help me to find the sum of the sequence that I have here. So basically, I'm going to rewrite the info that I have. So I still have the A, which is 9, because it's the same sequence. Now the D is 3. D equals 3. Okay. So A is 9, D is 3. The N is 20. N is 20 because they want us to find the sum of 20 terms. So I have these three info. I can plug them in here to find the sum of the sequence or these terms. Now I'm going to do it here. So the sum, I don't have to write the rule again. So the sum of the sequence will equal n divide 2. N is 20. So I'm going to use 20 divide 2 like this. So as we said, n is 20 this time. Now I'm going to use this formula here. So after this, I have a bracket. I'll put it here. So 2 multiplied by the a, which is 9. 2 times 9. And then plus the n, which is 20 here. So inside a bracket, 20 minus 1. And then multiplied by the d, which is 3, like this. And then I close the bigger bracket. Now I'm going to simplify like this. Let me put the fraction line first, so we know that this is a fraction. So the sum of the sequence will equal 20 divided 2 is 10. Now I'll put the bigger bracket. So 2 times 9 is 18 plus 20 minus 1 is 19. And don't forget that the 19 is multiplied by the 3. So 20 minus 1 first, and then you multiply it by 3 because you're following BIDMAS rules. So it's going to be 57, like this. And then you close the bracket. Now you have to do what's inside the bracket again. So the sum will equal 10 multiplied by what's inside the bracket, which is 18 plus 57. So 57 plus 18, which gives you 75. 75. And the bracket means they are multiplied by each other. So this means that 10 is going to be multiplied by 75, which is 750. So the sum of the 20 terms will be 750. And this is how you answer question like this. And as we said, sometimes the question are direct. They might give you the A, which is the first term, the N is the number of terms, and the D, which is the difference, and they will tell you to find the sum of these terms. And sometimes they will give you the sum and one of the variables inside is missing, you're going to use the same formula, rearrange, find the missing variable. And sometimes once you find the missing variable, like we did here, you're going to use it to find the sum of other numbers of terms of the same sequence. And this is how you answer a question like this. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.